I think I'll get started. And I know I'm standing between lunch and this session, so I'll keep it short and simple. Uh, I am graduate pass out, and I was working in a very big e-commerce companies. I was heading entire sales, and one day I happened to meet Dave, who is also founder and CEO at GeoIQ. He's my friend from IIT Kanpur, and we were discussing our life about. I'm just trying to gather interest for everyone by telling some story, and uh, we were discussing our lives whereabout. I was just describing him a recent incident that took at my place. So I belong from Indore, and we used to have a house help by the name Naveen, right? He was working for us for 3 years, and one day he tends to ask us for a loan of rupees 2 lakh, citing some medical emergencies at his house. His house is not far away. He's from Ujjain, which is 45 kilometers from Indore. Since as a rule we had his Aadhaar card, and he was working for 3 years with us, so we trusted him and we gave him the loan. 2 months later, Naveen absconded, and he stopped taking our calls. We didn't understand what happened. So one day, me and my brother thought, let's go to Naveen's place and find out what happened and maybe get catch of him. On the way, we realized the address written on his Aadhaar card was incomplete. The address was like Naveen Singh, Freeganj Chauraya, Mahakal Temple Road, Ujjain. There was no house number, there was no street locality. And at that point, Dave stopped me. And he said, that's the exact problem we are solving. And this is not just your problem, but this is problem for entire BFSI, entire e-commerce industries, right? Broken addresses, incomplete addresses. And this is the piece which we are solving. We are working with companies like Navi, Piramal, Hero, Bajaj, DMI, Paytm, etc. for various use cases. But one use case is common among all is solving on address part. If the remote is done, I can get to the next slide. Yeah. So, we last 2 weeks I have attended 3 fintech conferences, 2 roundtables, and one thing is common in every discussion is that the Indian consumers are a bunch of us. We are pampered customers. We need everything very super fast. We need our e-commerce deliveries in same day. We need our food in 30 minutes, and now very famous, we need groceries in 10 minutes. But much of appreciation to our fintechs, who are now able to assess the loan application, who are dealing in real cash in less than 2 minutes, and to leverage and to use this, or maybe to be able to make this decision to, assess the application in 2 minutes whether the disbursement has to given or not. Companies leverage a lot of these machine learning models, AI models, and that is our backbone also of our company, how we use it, right? So this is a real picture of our in real time. This was during Diwali week. Real applications from one of our fintech partners. Real time applications pinging from all over India in consumer durable loan. This picture is. So how do the central team make decision? How do they make decision whether to whom to give loan or not? These are small ticket size. You cannot physically verify them. These are people you don't meet, you don't see. So how do you assess them? So there comes our kind of data which help them to serve these Bharat customers. These are mostly underserved customers because customers with credit history, every bank, everyone is chasing them, right? Hundreds of people are chasing same set of customers. But next wave of growth will come from this tier 2, tier 3 or the underserved Indians. So this also gives an opportunity for fintechs and NBFCs who are catering to this to able to get a competitive edge. By the way, our clients, they gave us a report that they had 18% jump in last quarter just using geospatial data, which we are providing to them. Now, how do we do them? What is the real question is whom do we give loan to? How much exposure do we have? How much exposure to take? Where do I open my next facility? In next 10 minutes, we'll talk about it. In short, I'll maybe explain how we are helping them doing this, right? So on the first place, all of you are from BFSI industry, I won't go deep into this, but very broadly in customer onboarding journey, we start from address, right? We start from taking personal data such as from it can be either manually entered in a form or it can be from application, right? Or it can be fetched from KYC documents. But what happens in a lot of time we have seen, 35% of the time the loans get default or delayed. We have seen that there is an intent problem right at the time of application. The addresses are incomplete or addresses are broken. For example, Hanuman Mandir ke piche, or there is monkey typing done 3 times. They have written Ahmedabad, 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 and so this type of problems we just catch up and we instantly flag to the client, so they can either give it to their support teams to get it rectified, or maybe if they are having 10,000 applications daily, they can prioritize accordingly. If person is coming from a remote area, let's say from a jungle, where there is just 100 people living, or maybe some area which are not easy for collections. So we flag it off right at the time. So before even hitting any third party vendors like mobile devices or any SMS data vendors, or even for that matter bureau, you can have a your system is flagged. And then once address piece is solved, then we help them in assessing affluence without what income level this person is coming from, what are the type of households, what is the rentals over there. And then again, from this same address is used for collection models as well, whether they are primary, secondary, tertiary roads, etc. And then later part is customer acquisition, which marketing team uses for next lookalike audience, which will come later on. So this is the example. On the right hand side, you can see a complete address. The quality score which we give to the bank is 100, right? Because it has the house number, it has the street number, it has everything. And on the left side is Naveen, right? Naveen, you can see it's just Naveen Freegan Square, Mahakal Temple Road. There's no house number, there's no street, there's no locality. No one can, if I say I am Ronak Doshi, I stay in Andheri West, can anyone find out me without my building number, house number? I don't think so, right? So this things gets flagged off, and the score is reflecting same thing, right? So first, this is we break address into 9 components, like name, house number, street number, building number, locality, micro locality. And if someone writes a pin code of Bombay and give address of Pune, right, we also flag off such kind of instances. So that at least all those accounts which may go into NPA gets flagged off at a very initial stage. And all this happens in less than 300 milliseconds, right? So once the address thing is done, we also help you in predicting income, right? Since we are sitting in Bombay, I've taken all examples of Bombay. On the left is Bandra West, in middle is Dharavi, and right is Makund. Now, a lot of times these banks, or traditionally has a good pin code, bad pin code kind of system. It's coming from I think late 90s. But now we have gone digitally. We leverage the tech, so we have gone very, very granular, and we work on a very address level. By address level, and we have a custom model for everything. So Dharavi doesn't mean a bad area, right? For a loan application of 5,000, 10,000, it might be a good area. However, if someone is asking for 5 crore rupees loan from there, then we might generate red or orange flag, right? So there is a saying, right? Dress and address says a lot about a human, right? In this digital world, we cannot see the address, but addresses we do have, right? And we have started taking meaning of these addresses. Affluent users or high income we have 3,000 plus different variables such as what is the real estate rate there, what is cost for 2 of meals over there, what is the infrastructure over there, right? Such kind of 3,000 variables which help us in building this affluence score or civic crime report score. And then again, from the same address, once the address thing is solved, affluence is solved, we help. This is real example of Navi, how Navi uses this in collection models and underwriting, right? Earlier they used to take, of course, credit score, bank statement, SMS data, but most of these Indians whom they are serving may or may not have credit card, may or may not have any credit story, even they do not have PAN cards at times, right? So how do you serve them? How do you profile them? This location, one thing is for sure is low address everyone will have, right? And it will be unique for everyone. So this data helps them in enriching their prediction models. They have given 10% weightage in their entire algorithm of underwriting. And right at the start, they can assess whether collection will be possible or not. वहाँ पे road है, नहीं है, primary, secondary, tertiary, whether there is enough people living there, right? So they can assess this, and then basis that they give disbursement, and that's why their NPAs are under very much control, in spite of being a startup, right? And similarly, this can be used for different various use cases, such as where do I open my next branch, where are my target audience, because we have information available, such as in what age group people are living, what income level, households kaisa hai, 1 BHK, 2 BHK, how much car they have, or what type of cars they have, what is the main source of income they are having, buying behavior, spending behavior, and we build a data science model over it. It's not just a static data, but we build a data science model and tuning to your requirement. 50,000 rupees loan may same location pe answer would be different, and if it's a 2 crore rupees loan, same place answer would be different, right? So also when it comes to digital acquisition, this is used for targeting, because if any of you have used Facebook ads or Google SEO, the filtering is done basis location, gender, interest level. But now with this, you can go even granular and decide what type of income level you want, what type of households your target audience would be, and etc. Right? As you have seen, I spoke mostly on addresses, and this just one piece of address giving so much information. Basically, we boiled down to a very narrow 100-meter radius, and this is what differentiates us from the traditional good pin code, bad pin code, way. We have 3,000 plus variables, which is coming from 600 different sources, right? Simple as government data, census data. We have satellite image, which help us in differentiating where is commercial building, where is residential, where is jungle, lake, no man's land. Bharat Pay, Paytm have started using us in identifying where their merchants are, where is the merchants' propensity higher, because they serve to merchants, they give lend to merchants. So this is how data science team and business teams are using us in a very good way. We have variables around health infrastructure, risk, crime rate, then hospitality, socio-economical data. This is mostly about GeoIQ. This is what we do here, and how fintech companies are leveraging this kind of data. I just got the signal also. Maybe these are few of our clients. Many more we have added in this. And if at all you have any questions, you may ask now, or I'll be available offline to answer all your questions. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi. Quick question. So,
Yeah, sure.
do you use permanent or current addresses? Don't you have that confusion? Like, which address do you use?
So in case of there are dual addresses or there are three addresses, this is the exact use case of DMI. We call it address triangulation, right? So if let's say bureau have the address, any of the address, we match what percentage is matching to the addresses, right? And if they have both the addresses, there are instances where clients have two addresses, right? So we give information on both the address, and then it depends on the client whether they want to average it, which address they want to take more of it.
Okay. And another question, doesn't this also, and this is probably a longer thing for us to discuss offline, but I'm just going to put it out here. I'll let you decide whether you want to answer it now. Doesn't it also lead to some level of stereotyping? So if you're saying, it is sort of hard for you to predict, I do not know how narrow or how detailed or what is the size of the area that income prediction that you're talking about. But if you're talking about an entire locality, obviously there are going to be various ups and downs within the area as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll give you one example of Bombay itself. Now we are in Bombay. We all are aware of Worli Sea Face, right? So Worli Sea Face seems to be a very prominent area in Bombay, but adjacent is the fisherman colony. वहीं पर ही मच्छी बाजार है, right? So our systems is able to differentiate between two streets as well. कि इस तरफ से आ रहा है तो what is the affluence level, what is the income level in this area versus just one street adjacent to it, which is fisherman colony, and both lies in the same pin code, right? So there is the pin code system fails, right? Because both are in the same pin code, and this is how we differentiate, and this is why these clients are taking advantage of it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that impactful demo. We really appreciate your time and being here. Let's give him a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And on that very energetic note, let's gear up for the next demo topic, that is Healthy Shore. Hi, good afternoon.
Thank you. Problem we are solving, and this would be a special moment for us because it's the first time that Healthy Shore brand is being presented from a podium. So yeah, I would want to talk about us. Can we navigate the slides? Shore is today's India's most loved employee benefits platform, where we are making insurance and healthcare affordable and accessible to the 200 million plus workforce in the country. That's the mission that we are working with. And we want to reimagine the way today employee health insurance is being distributed in the country, where it's a regular traditional broker sending an emailer to an HR and HR in total forwarding it across to their organization. That's a very broken way of accessing your insurance and understanding what those benefits really are, and also integrating this with a wide bouquet of offerings on health and wellness. So let me show you a quick presentation or a video demo of what Healthy Shore is doing. Yep, I believe that the audience here got a good overview of what exactly we are doing. So while we've been powering group benefits for 200 plus organizations today, we want to take our product and technology suite to a wider community of brokers, agents, banks, B2B fintech institutions, so that they can leverage our infrastructure and distribute to the remotest corner of the country in terms of employee benefits, where we could achieve a 90% plus penetration into the country. So talking about our product suite, so we are an aggregator of insurance and healthcare offerings. We today take pride in partnering with 15 plus insurance companies to offer group health, group accident, and group term life coverages to organizations as small as 2 employees to as large as 10,000. We also aggregate and bundle health and wellness programs where corporates can pick and choose what programs do they want to offer to their employees. So whether it's consulting doctor on the go, accessing medicines with discounts at the convenience of your doorstep, to availing a health checkup, which the lab technician would come to your home within 24 hours with a follow-on report consultation, or accessing year-long gym membership across the country and not just limited to your vicinity, or accessing mental wellness therapists on the go, or to accessing OPD coverage programs, or viewing wellness workshops around the year. So the 21st century employee wants to be physically, mentally active and also financially secure, and that is what we are doing at Healthy Shore. Talking about the landscape and the addressable opportunity that we are catering to. So today, unlike the developed markets, you see that 90% of the workforce is employed by those fragmented enterprises, which rank 100 million plus in the country. And less than 10% of the workforce is employed by the medium and large size organizations. So today, if you want to address this market, we need to go deeper with the scale of technology. And if you look at the penetration, unlike the developed countries where we have 95% of the population covered either through social security schemes post-retirement or through a mandated employer-sponsored insurance, in India, the number is very small. Less than 9% population is covered through a company-sponsored insurance. And that is the reason why the remainder 60-70% are able to only access retail insurance where the penetration is less than 4%. Not everyone is like savvy enough to buy an insurance on his own. And the government takes care for the below poverty line population with a 25% coverage. So we see that from the tier 1 and tier 2 blocks, which is the mid-size and large corporates, 85% organizations do access insurance, but the bottom of the pyramid that we see, the 2 blocks, which employ 90% workforce, there's less than 6% penetration. And you ask why? It is because of the small ticket size and the unstructured distribution and not having much to do in terms of, you could say, creating a meaningful employee benefits program for the organization. And for employees, the end experience is very much broken today, where for even claims, they need to manage the entire, you could say, claim settlement process by themselves. They are at the mercy of the insurer and the TPA who would always want to act in their own vested interest. So what we are doing at HealthySure is we are building a model, infrastructure as a service, or I would say employee benefits as a service, where we understand that group insurance as a product is highly commoditized. And we see that to distribute this product requires a lot of efforts for the person who is engaging with the corporate, or the HR, or the admin, or the promoter. The decision is never taken based on the servicing capabilities. When you buy an insurance program, it's always about the trust of knowing the person who's selling the product, that he's not misguiding you or cheating you. And at the same time, it is dependent on the most competitive pricing that you get on a group insurance product. So these are 2 fundamental decision-making points, that whether you know the person who's selling insurance, that is relations, and whether he's giving you the most competitive price. So while we can give you the most competitive price, but of course we cannot build relations with everyone, right? And that is the reason why we are offering our tech infrastructure suite to the entire community of the distribution value chain, whether it's large traditional brokers or say the mid-size evolving small brokers or agents, B2B fintech platforms, banks, corporate connect partners, which could be financial advisors, wealth managers, CA firms, or even large enterprises who buy insurance directly from an insurer, but would want an intermediary to service the post-purchase support, whether it's on member onboarding, member management, claims, or health and wellness add-ons. So this is what we are doing. Today, we are distributing our product suite through our direct channel, but we are slowly evolving into the new model of infrastructure as a service, where we are now catering to host of broker partners and agents to distribute insurance, where they take care of sales. And the platform is entirely white labeled for them, and we take care of the post-sale support. So that's about it. I'll try if I can give you a demo of our platform. Just allow us a moment if it's possible. Okay, I guess we may be running short on time, so maybe we'll close it here, but happy to have an offline discussion with anyone who would be interested. Yep. So yeah, this is a live prototype screen for a partner that we've onboarded. So you can see that how a company can seamlessly access these insurance and healthcare programs, check out who are the members enrolled under the policy under different product suite, and also access health and wellness programs, and also see a checkout offers onto the page where we have curated offers and deals and listings for our member community. So this is for a sample partner for which we've white labeled the entire platform for them to serve their clientele. So happy to take on any questions if anyone has, otherwise always happy to engage offline. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I think he truly deserves a huge round of applause. Thank you once again for joining us and influencing us with your brilliant ideas. We look forward to be seeing and hearing more of it. All the very best to you. Up next, we have a demo on Intelligent Industrial Internet Systems Private Limited. So let's see what this one has stored in.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody had a good lunch and hope to keep this interesting. So while our official name is Intelligent Industrial Internet Systems, we are getting into a new avatar and we call ourselves now Intelligent Insurance for India. And why India? Is because the insurance inherently is so complex and it's especially health insurance, it is still growing. And a common customer, like many of the people have bought insurance for the first time in retail segment in last 3-4 years. And there is so much more population which hasn't even brought insurance for the first time. And it is so complex that there is a broker, there is an aggregator, there is an agent, there is online sales, there is an insurance company pitching directly, there is hospital network and so on. That if you have to make sense of insurance, I say you end up having affair with your insurance partner. And what would you expect from such an affair is access to insurance advisory, but it doesn't end there. It's help on servicing your claim, changing simple details, changing your policy details, and so on. So is it really something that every customer can do? No, I don't think so. From insurance company's perspective though, I think it's very clear, here are the 4 things that insurance company does, which is advisory, your purchase or sale of the policy, servicing and the claims. But it doesn't matter to the customer. For customer, he just wants to deal with insurance as a single entity, as a single unit. He does not want to be bothered by so much details around how, where, when he should buy policy from, how is his claim going to be processed, what part is payable or not payable. Right? And if we step into an insurance company, each one of the bullet points here is a process in itself. There is a system of its own. There is a database of its own. These systems and databases don't talk to each other. And that's, a huge problem to solve for the insurance company. So at i3 Systems, we started off with a belief that we can use AI to build 10x customer experience. We have been at it for 6 years, and I don't think we are anywhere close to bringing AI to influence the customer experience itself. While we have automated many of those processes and brought in intelligence to each one of those processes, but it does not culminate in influencing the customer experience in a big way. So, it's not just use of AI or automation, but all of these elements coming together, which can power customer experience really. So, and here's an example of, what we are doing currently. So, we have been building these technologies for quite some time, related to claim, related to underwriting, policy servicing, everything, and now even bringing ChatGPT-like technology so that customers can just talk to the bot in a normal language and understand and ask whatever queries they want to, and maybe 90% of those queries can be resolved that way. And the heart of this, everything like making this customer experience possible, we have tried to put together all possible technologies that are necessary in order to make this possible, right? And all these technologies were built by us in-house, going from, whatever it took. There are document intelligence models which can process data from absolutely any kind of document that comes into insurance companies, from any kind of provider, any formatting, nomenclatures, etc. There is AI models to understand risk, fraud identification. There are RPA systems to integrate with legacy systems, and there are API integrations we have done with the core systems of many insurance companies. So, and what is the vision eventually is, all of this comes together on a single channel. We are thinking WhatsApp, but it is also possible to deliver the same through any of the insurance apps. But if you see any of the insurance apps, they don't really work, right? So this is what we have been working on, and eventually the vision is to what we call as InsureX platform, wherein through a single platform for the customer, it's like, he has absolutely anything to do with insurance. He just connects to the WhatsApp, to this particular channel, and all of his queries, requests, claims, anything, absolutely anything that he wants to ask about gets addressed from this single source, while all the complex data churning, data processing, fraud identification, everything else runs in the background. So insurance doesn't so the customer is not bothered by whether I'm using AI or whatever. He's only, what he is concerned about is that who should I talk to, and here is a single channel that he should talk to. So that's us. We've been on this mission of making insurance simpler for India. Let me give you a quick glimpse of what happens in the back end, because that's the core of what we built. As you would have seen many demos, presentations here related to distribution, and a lot of that has been streamlined. All of us agree that. But what's happening in the back end? What is so complex about insurance that it takes so much time to approve a claim, to understand, what part is paid or not paid? So here's one of our system. It's a medical claim processing automation system. So what you see is, an insurance claim document received by insurer. Our system has automatically tagged every document in it, identified what are the documents missing in it, so that you can automatically tell through an API to the customer that, so and so documents are missing. The next step, our system has been trained to process all kinds of detail important in a medical claim, non-medical details, as well as medical details and financial details, which is most important. The key thing here is that the system works irrespective of the formatting and nomenclature used in the document, as long as it is English language, and anywhere, not only India, but anywhere else in the world. So that's the key thing. Our system has processed roughly 3.5 million medical claims across 60,000 different hospitals. So, and what this system does is simply it is automatically capturing what are the details of a medical claim, what is the category of this expense, whether that expense is payable or not payable, etc. So this is on the claim adjudication side. We strongly believe that given our technology, it is possible to approve a claim in less than 10 minutes. So, but then you would say, why don't we see that in our own real life customer experience? Because there are so many different systems at the insurer's end that this whole experience gets broken, which is where we have stepped up and said that we'll put all together ourselves through a single WhatsApp channel, and that becomes the go-to place for all the customers. I'll just quickly give you a glimpse at some of the other systems. This is on medical underwriting side, wherein again our system extracts all the key information from all these documents coming from so many different sources, so many different diagnostic centers, etc. You can see that all the clinical details are extracted, identified, all the abnormalities are identified, and so on. So all of this data goes into a medical rule engine, and the medical rule engines are very product as well as insurance specific. So we have put together a framework where it can be configured very quickly. And so, here again, so, and why I'm saying medical underwriting is because I think financial underwriting has been amply addressed. It's mostly automated. It can be automated with all the digital stacks coming into picture. I doubt if 1 year down the line, any insurer would be doing financial underwriting manually. So it's the medical underwriting which is the complex part, and just want to demo that we have solved that part also. So, all these technologies coming, and this is the third part, which is on fraud, wastage, abuse. This system identifies if there is any upbilling in any of the medical claims compared to the usually agreed tariff price. So putting all these things together and just giving you a quick glimpse of what happens in the back end, we strongly believe that the stage is all set to have really have these technologies to address the unaddressed parts of the market. which is, I think, like the Jupiter CEO said, the low ticket size and short-term loans are 37% of their business. For banks, it may be just 5%. Similarly, in insurance, while for insurance companies, micro insurance does not matter, tier 2, tier 3, and retail are still just beginning to come up. But I think those are going to be big areas for growth in health insurance specifically. And that would be possible only when we simplify all the technology, all the expertise that everybody has into a simple, single, unique channel. And the customer is able to do everything from a simple WhatsApp interface, which he uses 1 hour per day in any case. So that's i3 Systems. Happy to answer any queries.
I think we need a mic there. It's not working.
Hello, this is Prashant.
Hi,
You
Prashant.
mentioned multiple databases. I think that's a crucial part. Like, how are you solving that problem? Because for AI to efficiently work, I think it has to have some standard streamlined interfaces, and I think connecting to very complex databases is a challenge.
So, that's true, and AI is also very process specific. So last 6 years, what we have been doing is doing individual integrations with each one of these applications, which would have its own database. Uh, the insight we have at the end of 6 years is that it's very difficult to have so many two-way integrations running inside an insurance company and bring the true impact of AI. So our current approach now is, having done so many integrations, is that that we handle all the processing at our end upfront and do a single write operation on all the core systems or all the destination systems. And I think that's the only way to bring AI into insurance. Doing one process integration at a time across so many different processes is just impossible.
Do we have any more questions before we can close this demo and wrap it up? I think that's about it. Thank you so much, sir, for your
so much.
time.
Thanks,
Really
everyone.
appreciate it. Thank you for enlightening and addressing each one of us. Moving on with the next topic for the demo is Perfios Credit Gateway.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sandesh. I have my colleague here with me, Swaroop. We represent Perfios Software Solutions. Today, we would want to demonstrate a product called PCG, which is Perfios Credit Gateway. Now, what is Perfios Credit Gateway is something that we will show you through a demo rather than a PPT. But before we start with the demo, I just wanted to bring up a few topics. One is, what is the biggest problem statement for an SME in the country today? I think the biggest problem statement is access to credit so that it enables them to grow. And especially having access to credit at the point at which they want it. I think that's the number one problem statement when it comes to the SME side. On the other side, when it comes to the lenders or the banks, NBFCs, fintechs, the number one problem statement is, where do I find these customers? So access to customers, access to the right amount of data is, I think, a primary use case, a problem statement for these lenders. So what are we trying to do is be the middleman. What I mean by that is, can we connect the credit-hungry SMEs to the customer-hungry lenders, right? So that is essentially what we are trying to achieve through our product, which is Perfios Credit Gateway. Now, it sounds very familiar, right? Credit Gateway. It is deliberately done that way because all of you guys know what a payment gateway is. The Razorpays, Cash Freeze, and Bill Desk, etc., made payment gateways really popular. Now, what is a payment gateway? It's essentially how do you integrate? You have a normal website. You have 2 lines of code through an SDK that a payment gateway provides you. You embed these 2 lines of code. It makes your website into an e-commerce website where you can do transactions, payment transactions on the website. As simple as that. Of course, there's a few more complexity, but simplistically put, that is what it is. Now, we want to achieve the same thing. What I mean by that is we go to any marketplace, e-commerce marketplace, merchant websites, etc. We say integrate with these 2 lines of code. Your website will now be able to lend to your customers. It could be an SME customer, it could be a retail customer as well. Let's stick to SME use case. Now, who are these, where do you find SMEs? There could be a seller on, say, an Amazon seller app or a wholesaler app. On AGO, they could be selling, apparels and a whole lot of other marketplaces as well. It could be farmies, it could be Swiggy, Zomato, where a restaurant logs in and sells its food items, its menu is all there. So Swiggy knows a lot about this restaurant. Zomato knows a lot of this restaurant. Amazon knows a lot of about these sellers. They have a lot of data. Can we leverage this data is one thing that we're trying to do on one side, right? So that's an overall context saying that we are enabling an option through this 2 lines of code, as I say, enable access to credit for an SME who has logged into their marketplace portal, clicks on a button, it opens a portal, and then very, very basic details is what needs to be entered. I will show it to you as in terms of what is the amount of information that is collected in the most seamless, frictionless manner. And at the end of the day, I will also show you a report which essentially shows the entire exhaustive information that you could potentially collect from these I think there are about maximum 6 or 7 inputs that needs to be given. As little as that, we get bank statements, you get GST, you get ITRs, all of these, and then much more enriched information through our own platform, through publicly available databases, through a triangulated information set, is all made readily available to the lender, where they can run their policies, be it their traditional underwriting policies on a BRE or an AI-based model, whatever they wish to do that, and then they can offer a real-time loan offer. So that's what we'll try to demonstrate today. Before that, any questions, please feel free to ask. Cool. So what we see here is essentially a screen that doesn't belong to us. This is just a demo screen, which is representing a AGO merchant portal or an Amazon seller app, right? So this doesn't belong to us. But you see a button here which says Apply Now. That Apply Now is what we enable through that 2 lines of code, as I said. So what happens is, the Apply Now button could be plain text, or it could be a pre-approved offer as well, basis the information that the merchant has, as well as bureau. Basic information, we can do a basic offer and say enhance this by providing much more. So now I click on, as a SME, I log in, I click on Apply Now. I see, okay, all of my information is pre-populated. Wow, that's because Amazon or AGO, I'm already there. They already know my demographic details. Very basic. It's all there. This is something that's to be filled. So I'm asking for 10 lakh rupees of loan. Fantastic. Next. So the screen that you're seeing here is a Perfios white-labeled screen, which means that if I'm hosting this for Amazon, it will have an Amazon branding. If I'm hosting for AGO, it will have an AGO branding. If I'm hosting it for farmies, it will have a farmies. It will have Swiggy. It will be a Swiggy logo, white labeling. All that could be done. Now, it is asking for, okay, anyways, doesn't matter. Sorry, let me just go from the beginning. I think I clicked on the wrong button. I'm taking you through an example of an SME working capital loan, wherein I'm trying to collect information from bank statement, GST, and ITR, and of course, a lot of Perfios proprietary database as well. So when I click next, it will basically showcase the 3 options to frictionlessly provide this to the lender. So here you see three options enabled. First one is saying bank statement. I can do it in three ways. Either I can provide my net banking credential. People who know Perfios are well aware that Perfios is like the master of getting banking transaction details. So net banking, or I can upload my bank statement, PDF, or I can do A. I think A is something new. I think that will have a lot of interest. So let me use the A route, which is the open banking account aggregation solution of the country. I'll choose A. And then it basically says Anumati is another company which is kind of related to Perfios. And this uses Anumati's gateway to get the data. Now here I need to enter my number, phone number. So basically, what I'm saying is I don't have an Anumati ID. I don't have an AA ID. Let me create a new ID. If in case I already have an ID, I can say in the bottom saying that I already have an ID. Let me give my Anumati ID. Now, my AA handle. AA handle, for reference sake, it's very similar to your UPI handle, because if you're doing your payments on, say, GPay or on a phone pay or any of these UPI payment providers, you'll have a UPI handle. A handle is very similar to that. So it's now redirected. It sent me an OTP. Let me enter the OTP what's the OTP? 3857. Okay. So what happened is that the information is broadcasted to all the banks out there, and it is identified saying this is a demo. So Acme Bank, which is a fictitious name we have made up, Acme Bank has my account. So it says that, okay, Acme Bank has all these three accounts that belongs to you. It's having 2 savings bank account and 1 current account. And it's saying, do you want to share all of these details to the lender? I say no, probably I'll just share my savings bank account. I think this is safe. So, okay, I give consent. So consent is the most important word here. I give consent to provide this bank detail to the borrower. And so when I do that, I'm actually getting SMSs on my phone saying that the request has been sent, and the Acme Bank is also sending me an SMS saying that somebody has requested for your data and you have approved it. I'm providing this data. I already got 3 messages, SMSs here. And it says successful. So bank transaction is provided. I just gave my phone number, 1 OTP, and whatever 6 months, 12 months required data is all retrieved. Next, let me do ITR. So ITR, again, this is a traditional way of doing it. I can what's happening? It always happens. The demo day, servers go down, network goes down, and whatnot. Let me just skip it for now. In the meanwhile, I'll do the GST data fetch. Let me pull the GST information. Now, what it says is basically I have, say, Amazon already has my PAN number. Now, from my PAN number, the platform will automatically pull all possible GSTs that are linked to that PAN number, and that is what is going to be shown. I'm running the internet through my phone, so anyway, so what would happen is if it's an ITR flow, I would be asked to provide my credentials. I think it's no. Other things are working. I know. It's okay. So basically, net banking fetch was done through, the banking fetch was done through Anumati through 2 OTPs. The ITR pull would happen just by using your username for your ITR portal and an OTP. Again, that's as simple as that, just 2-3 fields. Similarly, GST, the PAN is already available. You don't need to memorize your GST numbers as well. The portal will showcasing you have these 3 or these 4 GST IDs registered in these 3 states. Which one would you want to use for the purpose of availing this particular credit? So that is what happens in the whole journey. And Once that is done, it creates what we call as a credit file. Now, the credit file is nothing but it's essentially information about this particular entity or this particular individual, having all possible information collected, collated from different sources. Now, let me just showcase what are the kind of information that can be retrieved, can be made available. This is just a summary of the entity. So in terms of the demographic details from ITR, we pull out what is the total turnover, the total expenses, profits, and what is the income to receipts, percentage, etc. We do a cross analysis between the banking data and the bureau as well. So bureau, by the way, is already getting pulled because in the first page we took a consent from the customer saying your bureau information would be pulled. And basis that, we also cross analyze information stating that, by the way, according to bureau, you have got 3 loans running, but your bank statement doesn't really reflect that. Maybe you're not providing all your bank statement. Why don't you do that? There's also a scenario that bank will have an EMI shown, but the bureau will not have that same equivalent information there. So there also we can say that, okay, although bureau doesn't showcase this particular EMI, this customer definitely has another EMI that he's paying through another channel. So this is a very rich set of information. Apart from that, we do verify the information about that customer from PAN, from GST, from Bureau, from Udyam, from EPFO. EPFO is a very useful insight in terms of, how many employees does this fellow have? Has it been increasing? Has it been decreasing? Is he doing well? And if there's any discrepancy information from multiple sources, that's also highlighted. So all these information is kind of shown. Cash flow is shown, commercial bureau, all that is retrieved. And essentially what happens is all these information that is collected is sent to all the partner banks. So which means that right now we've got about 3 or 4, 3 and few in integration process. This information would all be flown in basis the consent of the marketplace. Of course, it will be sent to all the possible lenders. The lender would come back with an offer saying that, for example, here Tata Capital has offered 10% interest rate for a principal amount of 9.68 lakhs. Right? So that is the offer it comes. So it could be, you could also see 2 loans. Right? Tata Capital would offer 9.6 lakh at 10%. Maybe a Kotak would offer 8 lakhs at 9% interest rate, lesser amount, but lesser interest rate. So based on everybody's credit policies, these offers made, the customer could choose what is right for him or her and then say, proceed. So when you proceed, of course, because here this is an example of ETB customer, the whole video KYC onboarding journey, I've kind of skipped it. But here, which basically, it basically says, these are the terms and conditions. Do you agree to this? I say I agree. And then the agreement is registered through an OTP process because this is an ETB customer. And then the most important part, collections. Collections is a big challenge in the country. Reason is, how do you monitor them? Sorry, not collections. Monitoring is a very big challenge because how do you monitor whether this guy is using it for the right purpose, whether he's utilizing it, underutilizing it, or there's a risk of this guy going bankrupt and some kind of intervention is required. So that is where we do take another consent through the account aggregation route. So this is the scenario where I am saying that, can you please provide your account aggregation ID? So I'm saying, okay, this is the ID that I registered in the beginning. I give that ID. Now this information is, I just hope it works. Okay, doesn't matter. Something's really wrong. So what happens is you will be shown a screen saying that a consent is being taken for monitoring your account once every month for the next 12 months for this particular account. So you give a consent saying that, yes, I am consenting for the lender to monitor my other account. So here it is Tata Capital. it wants, and I have my bank account at Acme Bank, so I'm giving consent for Tata Capital to monitor Acme Bank account on a monthly basis for the next 12 months. So that's the advantage of that. That's kind of a big leap in terms of monitoring capability that kind of is enabled because of this particular facility called account aggregation. So anyway, so that was a quick demo. Now I understand why everybody uses a video and not a live demo. Things go wrong on the demo. Open to any questions. So happy to answer anything if it is there. If not, we can close this. Yes. Anything you want to add?
Hi, this is Gautami. I have a question. How is this different from Oken?
Very good question. I mean, thanks for asking it. What is different between this and Oken? So this one, I would like to call it as Oken plus plus. Why the double plus is because there are certain restrictions in the way in which information can be collected in Oken. Oken enables you to do data aggregation through the bank statements, through account aggregation route alone. Here you can do it through net banking fetch, through file upload, etc. We also enable you to do ITR, which is not right now available in the A ecosystem and Perfios because of its legacy in terms of its capability to support all kind of documents, bank statement, ITR, GST, Form 16, 26A, salary slips, financial statements, P&L statements, all of these could be digitized. So you can essentially ask the customer to upload anything and everything that you would require for a particular financial product and basis which you would want to lend. So that is why the plus plus. It's not just e-commerce data and bank data. It's e-commerce, bank, GST, ITR, Form 16, 26A, salary slip, everything. So that's the difference. Yes.
Hi, I just wanted to add 2 points to what Sandesh mentioned. One is that during the demo, while we covered predominantly the examples of two-sided marketplaces like Amazon or Swiggy, any business which has a consumer base or a MSME base and wishes to distribute credit products to them, PCG is the right match in that scenario as well. That's one thing. The second thing is, again, while the demo covered predominantly MSME use cases, MSME credit products and the flows associated with that, PCG also supports retail credit products as well. Do you want to add a note on that?
Yes, so just as an example, we have partnered with Visa, and Visa is offering this product to onboard customers for credit cards. Exactly the same thing. The data set is different. The lender is essentially an issuer of credit cards, and the journey remains the same. So you could offer commercial card or a ready-made credit card. So yeah, so retail as well as SME is supported. Meanwhile, I just tried my luck again. Yes, it worked. And I just wanted to showcase, this is the consent page. Now what it says is the purpose is explicit consent for monitoring your account. This is the monitoring use case, if you remember. You're sharing the bank statement, you're sharing transactions, you're sharing profile, and you're sharing the summary of that customer from a period of this, August 22 to Feb 24. And frequency is up to 1 time a month. So till February 24th, you will be giving access to the lender to get access to your bank statement so that they can keep a watch on you while you're not seeing them. So yes, I give access to the bank account that I shared for the lending purpose. Any other questions? Yes, please.
Hi, I am Amit. One question I had was, you have reached a point where you have so much data, right? And you're providing this data to these lenders. Do they express interest in you doing the analytics also for them? Is that something that's on the roadmap?
So we provide all the data that is required by the lender to take a data-backed credit decision. We don't provide decisions to lender for 2 purposes. One is because lenders credit policies are a secret sauce for every lender. So if you ask HSBC, they wouldn't want to share their policies, and they wouldn't want us to interfere there. They don't want anybody else to teach them. Same thing with the smallest of smallest fintechs as well. That is one. And second is, recently RBI came up with a very clear mandate saying that, if you are getting involved in the decisioning process, you need to be an FI. No, you need to be a LSP, loan service provider, and that comes with a lot of regulatory clearance and monitoring, etc. We don't want to get there. We want to remain a pure technology service provider. So yes, so we are enabling the lender to take a wise data-backed decision, but we wouldn't want to take the decision on behalf of the lender, or neither we want to tell them that this is a good customer or a bad customer. Yeah, so we do provide a technology solution, which is a BRE, which the bank could configure their credit policies, and that BRE would then respond back with a red, amber, green. But here the policy is defined by the bank, not by us. But yes, the data parameters, thousands of parameters, and we can help them in curating what is the right parameters, etc. But that's outside the credit decisioning process. Yes, please.
Yeah, so basically you are telling you are actually gateway, and the decisioning part is still with the lender.
Correct.
Okay. So how much you charge, and what is the model for
charge? I will point you to our BD team, our accounts management team. They will tell you exactly how much we charge.
No, I don't want exact amount, but at least if you want to share.
It's on a transactional basis. So there is a setup fee and there's a transaction. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ayappa. So
you charge to lender.
Okay. So your question was, in this marketplace where there's a marketplace as well as the lender, who do we charge? Right? Is that your question?
Who do you charge and how much you charge?
Okay. How much we charge, we can take it offline.
Okay.
We can have a one-on-one conversation. Who we charge, we can in fact charge 3 people. So if it's a Visa card, we would also charge Visa. Visa also pays us a certain fees because we are offering, ultimately it's Visa that's going in. But for other products, there's a small fees for the SMEs, there's a small fee that the lender also provides. Okay. Of course, all these are basis the product, which is, again, if it's a small ticket personal loan or a large ticket business loan, SME loans, based on that, there are a lot of variables and a lot of, again, on top of it, what are the insights we are giving the lender is also a factor of how much we charge the lender. Because ultimately, everybody is benefited. It's a win-win-win-win. There are 4 parties, all of them are winning. Who are the 4 parties? At least I'll just give you the Visa example. Visa has benefited because Visa card is getting sold. The marketplace, in fact, 5 wins, sorry. The marketplace is winning because it is catering to its customer really well, because, if their customer is happy, they'll use the platform more. Plus, if it's a Visa card, if it's a co-branded card, they will also get a part of the MDR. Right, which is on the marketplace side. Then, of course, the SME or the retail guy is benefited because he's getting a loan basis information that is available in the marketplace in a most frictionless manner. Lender is benefited because his loan product is being given backed by real good, insightful data that has been provided to him, and it's a full, proper lead that they're getting. And of course, we are benefited. We are the 5th player because we are getting revenue from both sides. So that's the 5 parties. All of them are winning.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Thanks a lot for listening to me so patiently after the heavy lunch, wonderful lunch that was served by Digital Fifth. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It has been a delight to hear from you. Thank you. Up next, the topic for the next demo is from Fast Collab. So let's hear it from them. Fast Collab.
Good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Sri. I'm the co-founder at Fast Collab. So for a change, we are not a fintech. Right? Thanks for having us here. But we have some relevance for what you're all doing here. So we're a travel tech company. We're based out of Hyderabad. So I'll give you some of the use cases on how you can look at us. So we are currently working with, let's say, Bank Open or Federal Bank kind of organizations. So if you look at Bank Open or Open, which is rebranded as Open, so they have 2.5 increasing MSMEs on their platform, doing various things. Of course, the banking operations, invoicing, GST related aspects of various business banking related services there. Then if you look at Federal Bank, they have retail customers and corporate customers. So both would be using the web and mobile apps for doing some banking related transactions. So now every bank, every fintech or every tech business wants to maximize the revenues of what they are doing from each of the customers. So that's where we come in. One of the areas that you can increase your revenues is offering travel services to your end customers. So as a MSME or as an individual, so you would be traveling to various places, could be business, could be personal, and travel is increasing post-COVID. They call it revenge travel, but we all do travel for doing whatever we have. So we built a product on one side integrating with all the airlines, hotel providers, payment gateways, and various things that are required for travel. So while travel is not a new topic, the knowledge and the technology is very limited to the make me trips of the world. So if you want to embed that into your product and maximize revenues, that's where we come in. So we have simplified all that. As you integrate with banks, we integrate with airlines, whether it is Indigo, SpiceJet, various other airlines. And our product can be simply embedded into your existing mobile or web app. So we'll show you simple flow and also how it can be embedded into your systems. So this is a simple app. Naresh, if you can search. I think great. We all use travel ourselves. So one other thing that you can look at MSMEs especially, or some of the individuals where there is a GST code available for it. We can offer the corporate fares that are not available on the retail websites. So they are typically cheaper most cases, and also you have free cancellations or very minimal cancellation fees coming up there. So that different fares that can be added there. Naresh, if you can continue. So when we do more advanced integration with your app, so we can do some simple integrations. So I'll actually stand this side. So we can do some simple integrations or also the advanced integrations where the profile syncs and all the GST data and all that can be synced onto our platform. This is a typical flow. We're not showing anything rocket science here, but we'll show you the next use case where this can happen within your app itself. So all the, if you look at corporate fares, then the seats are also free, a lot of seats, and then there are some privileged seats like Excel and all that you need to pay for. Seat, meal, baggage, special request. If you can go next, next, Naresh. Yeah, here, so we have shown credit card, but we can integrate really whatever payment product that you have. Some of the, for example, with Open, we are integrating with Open payment product. Some of the money can be taken from the wallet itself, or could be your own payment gateway, or you can integrate your buy now pay later services here. So whatever is relevant for you, where you can maximize your revenues, can be looked at. So we're not booking this ticket. This is actually live site, so we're not going to do that. So this is a typical flow. If we can log in. So we can log in as a business or personal as well. So we're just logging in to show a simple use case. So we built a small widgets. Go to the widget, Naresh. So based on where you want to embed our widget, on the web or on the mobile. So a simple iframe with the single sign-on technologies that we have integrated all things. So you can simply copy this code and put it within your HTML or whatever code that you have. Right? So we have just pre-populated something for web resolution and also the mobile resolution. Naresh, if you can open the web, just show the HTML So the HTML ones, Naresh. So it's a simple iframe embedded in it. So if you're using mobile, you can do web view as well. All the simple URL embedded into it within the HTML tag. Mobile, can you show, Naresh? It can be mobile resolution as well or web resolution. So if you see the new web page, Naresh, embedded page, this is simply loaded within the web, within the iframe. If you open the, yeah, you can, we'll do this a little later, Naresh. Can you show the mobile? So it can be any resolution that you need. So it automatically embeds wherever you need to embed. So all the complexity of all the product is simplified into just simple embed system there. So we've shown a very simple case where it's simply embedded without any API integration, but we can do, so some of the use cases like with Open or with Federal, if you have an MSME business, they will be having the company name, GST, their locations, and they may also have employees based on who you're servicing, 10 member company, 50 people company, 100 people company. So the profile sync can automatically happen so that we also have, let's say if you have a business which has 50 people or 100 people that you're servicing and they want to enable workflows, an employee raising a request, manager approving the request and then ticket getting booked. So that is all configurable, it is all there. If an individual wants to book, simple flow. If a business wants to book, all the policies, workflows are already configured in the system. They can configure, they are a bit more advanced use cases. But our product is used by the likes of Godrej, which has probably 100 subsidiaries. If you can understand the complexities of it. Our product is also used by ICICI Bank, for example. So where the complexities of the HR integrations and the profile syncs and the workflows, travel policies, all that kind of complexity. So we can cater to the most complex use cases or the most simple use case of whatever simply can be done. And if you can show the sample app.
This one?
The other app. 1, 2, 3. So we have just made a simple another web page. This will be my last look at it. So just go to one, Harish. Just if you want any stage, if this is your application, whatever you're doing with banking, payroll, cards, invoices, whatever you're offering to your end customers, right? So you can simply add travel as an additional service there, and it comes up here. Naresh, can you search here? Move forward. And then from this point onwards, the control is handed over to us, and then the journey continues from here. And why we need to do it? I think it is all boils down to the revenue generation. So we work on revenue sharing basis, which is good win-win for everybody. From an end customer point of view, they get good rates, and especially as I said, corporate fares, which are very premium and sought after. For you as a business, you can get more revenue added, and revenue without, I wouldn't put down your effort, but all this is simplified. The complexity of airline integrations, hotel integrations is actually years of worth of work. So we have done all that, kept ready, so you can simply integrate and go live very quickly, so that revenue can start coming in. You might also say that this is at some point when your product matures, when you want to look at your product as a super app, in addition to offering your services with other services, and that's where we come in. That's it. I think that is all we have, plain and simple, and what we offer to the market. Thank you. Any questions you may have? Please. Can somebody help there with the mic?
Hi, my name is Kalpesh. I have two questions. The first question is that, like the other websites, Make My Trip or Clear Trip, they generally control the prices. At the peak period, the prices is high. At some time when we visit, the prices suddenly change. How are you? Are you also doing the same thing? Is there some kind of revenue that you're getting from the airlines to control this? The second question is that you spoke about. I just saw there is a tab of right? So how is it stitched with the insurance company? Are you creating kind of a group policies and then giving it? And how is the process? Is it online or there is a lot of offline things which are involved?
Well, I'm talking if you can still present the insurance, if there are any policies there. So, so price manipulation is not done. I don't think even Make My Trip does it. So that was, broadly the pre-GST era, right? In the pre-GST era, a lot of information is hidden, right? Now, if you actually go to, let's say, an Indigo website or a SpiceJet and you enter your PNR and last name, it will actually show you the price that airline charges, because the invoice is here is generated by the airline. Earlier, Make My Trip used to generate invoice or we used to generate invoice, so you really don't know the actual price. So I can take 5,000 rupees flight, add 1,000 rupees and sell it to you for 6,000 rupees and you get invoice from me. But after GST, the invoice actually is generated by the airline. And you must have observed most times when you book it, you straight away get mail from the airline. And after a few days, you get invoice from the airline, not from any of the intermediate parties. So you as an end user knows the price straight away. You will know it, so nobody can hide that price anymore. So that is one aspect that I want you to remember. So therefore, we don't manipulate the price. So the revenue that we generate is on actually the convenience fee. So if you are having a payment gateway for payments, or let's say where it's more relevant is some of the fintechs that we're working with have their own wallet, where you don't need to go through the payment gateway. But if you go to payment gateway, you have certain charge, 1.5, 1.7, whatever percentage that you agree with your payment gateways, right? Or we have payment gateway integrated. Essentially that charge plus some more charge that you can take as a convenience fee, and that is a revenue that we can share. So you're looking at probably for a domestic, on every booking, probably 50 rupees to 100 rupees, or let's say close to 100 rupees is what you can make as a share, revenue share out of this particular initiative. So price manipulation can't be done. So what Make My Trip does is kind of a gimmick. So they actually show certain price, then apply a coupon, then you go to the last page checkout, and then they add this price as a convenience fee, and then net it works out the same aspect. But Make My Trip being Make My Trip, not discounting any of their credit, they have some preferred rates that none of us can get. They'll go and buy some 10,000 tickets upfront from Mumbai to Delhi, right? So they'll get it for preferred rate, and that they can add and sell. But you will never know what price they purchased. But if I have 100 crores, let's say, I'll go and purchase upfront an inventory, and that inventory I can sell. But that is only possible for the biggies. But in the context of Make My Trip, see, they are not as flexible as we are. If you go and try for their API, they will not give. They will not. I have customers who wants Make My Trip hotel inventory or flight inventory. They will not give. They are very secretive. Technology and all the privileges are only owned by those guys, right? So, and we beat them on various other places, right? Where especially when you look at the corporate travel side of it. So we have more advanced use cases, more advanced workflows, more advanced travel policies that we can beat. We have actually won projects against Make My Trip, some customers that we won against that competition as well. So we are a bit more agile, startup. We are like all of you, right? And Make My Trip doesn't need any new business, they have enough. So don't give it to them. On the insurance side, it is simply the plans are preloaded. You have basically, when you do mostly, not many people buy for domestic, but even if you want to buy for domestic or international, per day, based on the country, that rate is pre-agreed with the insurance companies. We can integrate with anyone. We have currently integrated with ICICI Lombard, Reliance Corporate, and Digit as well. But it can be anything if you have your own insurance provider or you yourself are insurance startup. We can load your policies. So the plans are preloaded, but the policy is created online using the API directly onto the insurance provider. But it is only the travel insurance. It's not coming up here, but that's what we are. Sure. Perfect. Anything else? Thank you. Thank you for having us here. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's give them a huge round of applause once again. Thank you for those amazing insights and takeaways. Up next, we have Scienzy. Let's give a huge round of applause for them as well.
Hi everyone. I truly am grateful that post-lunch session has at least some crowd. So I think the demo we'll do is actually not only trying to tell what Scienzy does, but I think we'll try and also educate on low code versus no code, which is something that I'm sure a lot of you, when you're trying to work for digital transformation, is things that are coming to you, you're reading blogs, and hence as a result, goal of this presentation will be at least to, if not be impressed by Scienzy, at least leave you with the clarity of what is low code versus no code. Scienzy is a no code platform that allows you to build great customer journeys without writing code. So I think we'll try and do some part using video and slide to cut short any time that may go in internet. So I think one thing that all of you, of course, want is seamless user, beautiful customer journeys. But I'm sure as you have tried to build them, you have faced these issues of long timelines for changes. Every time you want to make even a small change, technology team comes and says that, no, this will take weeks, not if months. Every time RBI comes with a change, every time regulator comes with a change, you suddenly have to go into this IT cycle that you truly hate. So at least if you are very happy with the way you are making changes and you're very happy with your journey, then this session is not for you. This session is for people who are facing this problem whenever they are wanting to make changes to the journey. So today's building app process actually takes a lot of time. So as you can see on the slide at the back, it goes through a process of gathering requirements, creating solution designs, a BA team gets involved, a design team gets involved, then you get to the phase of when you're running a project, so a development team gets involved, QA gets involved to test that code, a DevOps gets involved to deploy the code, and then eventually you get to an app which you roll out to users. So when you actually roll out that app, starting from the day you envisioned to end users, it takes 5 to 6 months because there are so many steps and there are so many people and partners that you need to go through. Versus what happens in Scienzy or generally no codes is that a lot of these steps actually get cut out. And the only real steps you're doing is ideation, requirement gathering, and a person who's configuring the journey for no code. So you are able to go from a timeline of 5 to 6 months to build journeys to a timeline of 5 to 6 weeks. For small changes that take 3 to 4 weeks, you're able to come down to timelines of 3 to 4 days. And hence, this is very powerful because it allows you that new power that the moment you ideate something, within days or weeks, you're actually able to see it go to the customer. So what we'll do is that, a lot of this, of course, sounds little bit fantastic. So we'll try and do a demo. Just before that, maybe just again kind of double down on the 3 ways that people are building technology applications today. So one, people are building them grounds up from scratch. The second, they are using low-code tools like OutSystems, and there are a lot of bunch of them. And the new game in town is, of course, no-code. And as you can again see on the slides, building from scratch, of course, gives you the highest flexibility, but is probably the most painful, takes the longest time. Building with low-code gives you some less flexibility, but you still need specialized developers. You still need specialized people who know Salesforce, who know OutSystems. No code is like building Google Forms. Yes, there may be some learnability, but non-coders, people who do not understand what is a database, what is application, what is front end, what is back end, can still end up creating useful applications. And therefore, no code is powerful because it allows business users, business analysts to actually build apps on their own. So that is what we'll try and demo. We'll quickly show you an end app through a video, which was built using Scienzy no code. and then we'll quickly try and build or at least change few pages live to show you how easy it is to change stuff. Yeah, so Udit, over to you.
Yeah. So this is the end application that is a product of our no-code platform. So the no-code platform, as Ankit explained, can create front-end journeys, which can be web-based journeys or a mobile application like this view, which you're currently able to see. And then there, how do we do changes to that, or how actually the platform looks like? We'll get into that. But this is an end application or an end product of the workflow, no-code workflow builder, which is a front-end application. And this is again configured as per the requirements of the financial institutions, and at the same time catering all the new age user graphics and user interface. And the most important part is pre-integrated APIs. That's what we were talking about in the previous slide, right? The actual no code, or the real definition of the no code, is where you don't need to do anything apart from configuring things, right? So the pre-integrations with the APIs for the likes of GST, Aadhaar, PAN, as well as the artificial intelligence, where we do the data extraction, face matching, video verification, video KYC. So all that is again pre-built within the platform, right? And all these functionalities can be used just on a plug and play basis, and that we can show you in the upcoming demo. But this is how an end product looks like, and this is how the end-to-end current account opening, for example, the video is for a DIY current account opening that can be done through the customer, and everything is built within the no-code platform of Sciencey. Yeah, definitely there are multiple integrations at the back end that are running in, but the platform is enabling you to create each and every screen and create each and every user interaction with your end customer, and not just leaving you with a black box where you have to figure out what to be put there, right? So that is, I think, is a bigger problem to solve, as and when we are getting into the era of low code to no code platforms. I think there's a lot more meaning to be put within the no code platform, where we ask for minimal interaction or minimal efforts from the clients, like a banking institution, right? So I'll show you a web journey. So this was a demo video, right? And now I'll show you actually how a journey looks like. Okay, excuse me. How do I switch the screen to a browser? Can you switch it to browser? Yeah, like I'm switched to browser, but it's not reflected here.
You have to just drag this to the other screen.
But I'm not able to do that also.
So yeah, while I think Udit brings up, I think that demo quickly, but what we are trying to show is that the front end will look something like this. We were trying to show current account because it's one of the most complicated front end journeys. Once Udit is able to figure out a way to present the actual app, we'll try and show you how easy is it to build these pages and make changes to those pages. So I think just a recap on, I think we skipped through these things a little bit fast. So now that we have time, so the main part of a no code is that because, okay, now we are back. I don't need to say unprepared stuff. Yeah, Udit, over to you.
Yeah.
Maybe just if you go back to that, we'll just talk about it. So I think by the time he logs in, so basically the no-code tool only builds customer journeys. So for example, if you want to build an HRMS, you cannot build an HRMS. You want to build employee ticketing, you can't build employee ticketing. The pro and con of no-code is that it will be even more limited than a low-code. So for example, we only do onboarding, but within onboarding, it will do everything. So for example, the way we have broken down onboarding is that everything is a page. Then you can bring together pages in flows. So what you see below is about 8 pages which constitute one test flow. Then you can create rule engines for verifying a lot of things, especially in financial journeys. You want to do a lot of validations, hitting APIs, doing logical conditions. Like you can think about rule engine, something like a BRE, again no code. And then back office to view that data for exceptional handling, and themes to change UI and UX, grants and configuration to create new back office users, create new RM users, and things like that. So what we'll try and do is that show you that how, let's say, a journey gets initiated. So you can initiate a new web journey by just sending, so for example, multiple journeys are configured. Here, I think he's sending the test journey that we just showed you is configured. And the user will be sent an email, or you can also, kind of open this URL in your iframe within your application. So to cut short time, we'll not go through the journey. We've already gone through one journey. So this is, let's say, one page where you have to upload ID documents. There are 2 options. Can you show the 2 options? Individual PAN and fetching PAN data. Both of these are microservices at the back end where you can, fetch PAN data, or you can actually upload a PAN and get OCR done. Can we just see that OCR and then we add DL?
Yeah, actually it's a lag there.
So this is like one microservice which does OCR of PAN, and you are able to, I guess it's also slow, but yeah, okay, it's fast enough. So you are able to get the OCR of PAN, right? Now we'll try and add one more service on the fly. In a typical low code or in a typical custom, this would have taken 1-2 weeks to integrate. We'll show you how very quickly you can add one more microservice to this front end. So can we go to?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And maybe you can just talk through it.
Yeah, sure. So see, this is the workflow builder that creates the workflow. The screen that we just saw, this was created, or this is rather created within this workflow builder, right? So this is the concept of pages which Ankit already explained. So we create all our screens, or rather the steps which the customer is going to interact with on this platform, on this section of pages. So I'll go to the page which I was showing you, this page, and currently there are 2 options, and this is a live journey, right? Currently there are 2 options that you can see here. I'll add another option here. So this is the page. I'll go to edit. As you can see, now these are the functions which help us to configure. Okay, sorry, yeah. So this, currently you can see there are 2 pages, and both of these are as a pre-offered template into the system. What I'll do is I'll go to select document. I'll go to customize the screen, and I'm going to add one more page, which maybe we can see from the, or maybe rather let's add 2. I can add driving license, I can add Aadhaar, and let's add passport also if you can, yeah. So I added 3 more options there for the end customer, and all these 3 options are not just getting enabled as a user input in terms of fields. These 3 options are also triggering an API which is integrated within the backend. So basically those are the 3 APIs for PAN, Aadhaar, and DL and passport, and they are created as a widget and introduced in this platform. And when I just click these 3 widgets in the backend, everything gets configured. I'll show you how. I create and proceed. Okay, yeah. So as you can see, all 5 options are here. I'll click on proceed. And now I have got 3 other pages. I can go into any of the page. Let's say if I go into Aadhaar. Now that is the beauty of a no-code platform, and that is what we were talking about. Now there are 2 things. Either in the traditional no-code, you get a screen where you go and configure how the Aadhaar page should look like, versus what we have done is all the required ID cards and the business verifications we have created as a template or a widget or a predefined library, you can see. So if you click on the extraction screen,
the system is smart enough to identify, okay, this was Aadhaar card, so ideally what should be the front side, what should be the back side, and if you go into review, it will know that, okay, these are the possible and probable things that are going to be extracted out of an Aadhaar card, and you don't need to do anything, just click on, proceed button, and you would be able to enable this. So the system has given you the capability of having a predefined template of all the ID cards that are required today in the country, right? For individual verification, we are talking about. For businesses also, like if you enable a GST or a VAT certificate, accordingly it will take the shape that, okay, this is the best fit template, and you should use this. If you're not happy, yeah, you always have the option to change things and edit things here. Okay, so I'm not doing any changes here. I maybe just make the date of birth as non-editable because I don't want the customer to edit it. I just create screen. I'll just proceed. Okay, this is the actual journey we were seeing, right? I'll just click the refresh button. See, Aadhaar is already there because I configured Aadhaar. Okay, the other two pages which I didn't configure, I'll just configure that also. So this all happens in real time. Similarly, for PAN, I'm also getting a template. So I'll choose the default template. I'll create screen. For passport, I'll choose the default template. I'll create screen. And within fraction of seconds, this journey is now ready for the end customer. Now you have all the 5 options here, right? Now, whatever you choose, so currently, if you see it's Aadhaar, upload front side, upload back side. The moment we get into PAN, it will say just the front side of the PAN. And if you go into, again, DL or passport.
Maybe if you show one very quickly.
Yeah, I can show that. Yeah. So let's go to Aadhaar so that I can show you the masking thing also. So this is the front UID that I'm uploading. I'll upload the back side. Now, if you notice, one of the images were tilted. So the system is smart enough to automatically rotate the images. The system is smart enough to identify that, okay, this is an Aadhaar card. So at all the places wherever the Aadhaar number is mentioned, it will automatically mask it, whether it is in PDF or it is in image or it is in the text format. So the moment the customer starts the application and the very first point where the customer provides his or her PAN card or Aadhaar card rather, at the very first point, the system has masked it, so it never reaches the organization and you never get into the hustle of non-compliance of not masking the Aadhaar or that. And the customer is also very safe and secure that, okay, my Aadhaar is masked, and at the very first point, I'm providing this as a masked Aadhaar rather than you masking it at a later point, right? And see, as you can see, everything is automatically populated. There are few fields which are not getting populated. Okay,
but uploaded same ID.
Okay, I uploaded the same image for both. So maybe, okay, let me change it.
I think we can move forward.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. So yeah, so based on this, like you can have all these 5 options, and this changes, like whenever you do the changes here, in real time that get reflected here. And as Ankit already explained, when we are done creating these pages, we go into the flows, where we orchestrate the page, the journey. Then we go into the rule engine, which has unlimited rule configuration capability. And as well as on the rules, you can put conditions as well. And based on that, you can give meaning to your flow. For example, if there's a mismatch between 2 date of births, or if the customer is above 18 years, above 20 years, based on that, you can suggest different products, for example, right?
I think we can go to PPT and then come back here for questions.
Sure. So that was the real web journey and the platform. And yeah, you'd like to take this up?
Yeah. So basically, coming back to the framework for at least our solution. So we have already kind of defined that customer journeys have 3 parts. That you collect data at the front end from many places. Then you run rules on them, and then you push that data to back office and eventually to CRM or a central DB. So because we have defined that the framework is like this, you are able to do everything no code. That is why you as a user, or if you have seen Udit doing what he was doing, he did not have to do things like, okay, REST integration versus sync versus async, DB. So you would have seen that it felt very much like Google Form. Why? Because architecture is defined. So the person who is making changes doesn't have to define DB, doesn't have to define front end, doesn't have to define back end, because architecture choice is firm and fixed. There is no architectural change that will happen. He or she only has to go and, for example, go to mobile, make changes for mobile, go to web, make changes for web, go to rule engine, make changes for rule engine. But the framework has been defined. Hence, it can act like a pure no code, doesn't require tech knowledge to actually make changes.
For a fact, I don't know coding at all.
Yeah, so I think also one more part which is back office. You saw, I think, front office, back office also maybe quickly we can go through. So unlike lot of other tools that exist, there's a very, very rich back office. The reason why there's a very rich back office is because there will some applications that come to you, but unlike old world where your back office users were kind of taking decisions, here what will happen is they will take AI assisted decisions, or you can say that they will be kind of correcting small data. So if you go to an application here, a lot of stuff is not there, but ideally there will be text match, there will be forensics, there will be cross verification, and all of this will be kind of already auto populated for the use case. So the back office user doesn't have to manually do all of this. Basis bank's own rules, bank's own compliance rules, all of this will already populate, decision will be there. The back office guy just has to go and kind of confirm or reject that decision for that user. Yeah, this is fine. I mean, there's a lot of data on back office, hence the back office module is also a very critical part because it allows the entire journey to happen in seconds or hours, right? So user is able to, let's say, submit a journey in 1 hour. Your back office user is also able to take a decision on the entire data, even though it's very complex, within 2 minutes. Our average stat at back office users today is around 2 to 4 minutes because lot of visual representation is very different from old back office world where data is just represented without enough analysis near the data. So yeah, this is it. I think we can go back to and just leave time for questions. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much. These are our contacts, and yeah, open for any questions.
Hi, thank you. Just one quick question. I think in the whole SME world, obviously there are proprietors and others where you can kind of solve the KYC using Aadhaar and stuff. How are you looking at solving it for the wider set of businesses in sense which are multiple partners, private limited companies, etc.? Is it already completely digital or it's on the way to that?
Yeah, I think the front-end journey you were showing was actually private limited. So at least Science's goal is not fully remote. So a private limited cannot be fully remote, but yes, it can be fully digital. And instead of taking 4 weeks, it can take 1 day. That user does everything digitally, you go one visit and get it done over with. But because it is a no-code application, your entire, what should I say, go-to-market is very, very fast.
In fact, for merchant onboarding, for current accounts, for all these entity-related onboarding, we already have dedicated journeys built and already being there in the market.
Any more questions?
Thank you so much for that wonderful demo. Let's give them a huge round of applause for joining us and for their wonderful contribution. We look forward to be hearing from you in the near future as well. Thank you. Our next demo is by Hyperface. Let's give them a warm welcome and a huge round of applause.
Thank you very much. So a quick introduction to what Hyperface is. Hyperface is a platform for building credit card programs and running it, and yet at the same time it also offers a fully digital embedded experience for the customers. It is mainly built as a system that can provide the ability for a bank to also build their digital interface while at the same time also extend that digital interface to their co-brand partners as well. What do I mean by that? Imagine there is a company like a Flipkart or an Amazon that wants to give fully embedded digital experience to their customers. How can they achieve that without having to do a much deeper integration or very InfoSec heavy integration with the bank? right? How can we give them a low code, no code kind of a solution, right? That's what Hyperface is about. We'll just look at the finer aspects of it quickly. Just one second. Yeah. So to start with, we will create a new credit card program. So this is where it starts. It's the basic definition of what a credit card program is, like your credit card, Regalia or Infinia, these kind of programs. It starts with just configuring the very, very basic parameters. We'll not dive deep into configuration of other aspects of a credit card, but just only the simple aspects. So once a program has been created, now comes the next step of creating a customer and putting some transactions into that customer's account. So first we will create a customer. This part is essentially a simulator that we've built, which allows, say, a program owner to create a customer account in the system by themselves without having to onboard a customer. Again, this will essentially take all the basic details of the customer, such as name, PAN, mobile number, and address of the customer, right? Again, like I said, this is only for the testing purposes. No credit card is actually getting issued for the customer here. Okay, so once the card has been created, now what our system at this point does is, it says that, look, the customer account has been created, the card also has been issued. Now comes the next part where we want to actually start accessing the card. This is where it gets interesting. So now we'll define what the front end of the system is, right? And this opens a web application. It's a progressive web application, which actually gives very basic information about the login part that you saw. Then we get the customer to authenticate themselves through an OTP. And this is further authentication, right? So because the customer is entering a digital interface for the first time, so this is as per the bank's requirement that customer needs to enter their PAN card and the date of birth before being able to access their card details. What our system also provides in addition to this is the ability to register an MPIN. MPIN is an authentication mechanism which we are all very aware of. Particularly in the mobile banking world, MPIN is a far more reliable authentication metric. So Hyperface has built an implementation for MPIN as well. Now, once the the first time the customer needs to set up the MPIN, they need to type it on their interface. This is an information that's not getting validated, but it's getting set up for the customer in the system. Right? Now the real authentication occurs where we verify the MPIN. Now the customer lands on the card page. This is a very familiar card interface for all of us, where the card is displayed, the reward points are displayed, and then the transactions are displayed. Right? So this interface is fully customizable. The user can manage everything pertinent to their card through this. Imagine this to be like very much like your mobile banking interface. Now let's actually go do some transactions, right, for this account. So this simulator, I'll just take a moment to explain the simulator. See, what happens in a credit card is that transactions happen in the past, right? And then suppose your repayment has happened, or if it has not happened, you do an EMI, right? And you want to test, okay, now what does my interface look like after I have, let's say, a customer for whom a bill is generated and this is the last day of the due date, right? Or now the customer has not paid. Now what does the interface look like? A customer has not paid the bill for a month. Now what does the interface look like? Right? So all those transaction possibilities can be simulated. So basically this is almost like your time log, the time history of, let's say, the transactions getting done one after the other. So here we are going to post a backdated transaction in the fuel category, suppose. Right. So all these basic parameters are entered, and now this creates a transaction in the account. Now you come to the interface and you refresh the interface here, right? You will see the transaction show up here. Of course, the user needs to log in, and then the transaction will show up here, right? So what's also happened here is that the joining fee is also applied on the account because the first transaction is done and at that time the joining fee is applied and the tax on that joining fee is also applied for the customer. Right. So this is the basic stuff. We'll now create a statement, right? How do we create that? We actually post a transaction after a month's time in the simulator and that initiates a statement generation as well. So now again the customer needs to log in, and once the login is done, we will see where the statement shows up. Yeah, so here you can see the view statement button, which has become active, and it's generated a statement, and now the customer can see the statement and all the transactions that got built into that statement as well. I'll just take one moment here. This is all the statement. Again, this is a web interface, which is one difference from what today's banks systems do. They don't actually list down all the statement transactions in a web interface. They ask you to go back to the PDF and then refer it. But we feel that for customers, it is far more user-friendly when they can access everything through a very familiar interface for them. Right? And this shows all the details, right? This is very important. For a very functioning credit card system, it is very critical for tagging every transaction correctly, including the charges, the fees, the taxes, or the refunds, right? These are all tagged and labeled correctly and then summarized and given as a very user-friendly view to the customers. So a typical credit card program, now we're just switching gears. This is the back end, right? Essentially the kitchen side of things, where the program actually needs to have very realistic fee structures and tax structures and the pricing for the card itself, right? So we'll just quickly look at how those can be configured. Very quickly, we'll see the kind of fees that are available, all the usual suspects that you will find in a typical credit card. You've got the late payment fee, the joining fee, card replacement fee, and any other convenience fee. I'll just double click on convenience fee in just a bit. So this is another interesting one. The fee strategy can be defined in a variety of ways. It's not a flat fee of say 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees, but it can be a percentage. It can be a percentage with min and max. It can be a slab also. You can say that, look, if it is between this and this, then charge this, right? So it can be done in a variety of ways. That level of flexibility is available in our system. Convenience fee is basically for saying today you can see all the banks have now started charging 1% convenience fee for rent, right? So for how do you identify a rent transaction is something called merchant category code, and that identifies the rent. And you can now say that, look, if this particular MCC transactions are done, then we will charge 1% extra, right? That entire definition can actually go here. Right, so that's the fee side of things. Then comes the interest part, right, which is again very cornerstone for a typical credit card product. So interest rate is it's something that is very nuanced also. See, interest cannot be charged for certain categories. Now, in certain jurisdictions, these are allowed, but in certain jurisdictions, you cannot charge interest on a fee component, right? So that flexibility is there in our system where the category of transactions for which what amount of interest needs to be charged is definable in the system itself, right? And the order of precedence is also very important when it comes to the repayment part of it. It's basically that when a repayment happens, do you knock off tax first or do you knock off interest first, or do you knock off a Flipkart transaction first, right? So that's very important. Again, these are adjustable in the systems. Different, again, like I said, different jurisdictions allow for different flexibilities. For example, in a country like US, federal level rules are also applicable, right? So Texas may say that, look, interest rates on fee is, but Arizona may say that no, it is not applicable, right? So those level of configurations are possible in our system. Thankfully in India, RBI is the only authority that has jurisdiction on the entire country. Right, so these interest rate configurations can be done here. Then comes the billing configuration. Again, the billing configuration is yet another very complex stuff. One of the interesting innovations that we want to do here is that today our ability to generate bills is monthly, right? Most of the systems actually generate bills on a monthly basis, but we are seeing fintechs emerge which actually want billing to be generated, say, on 7 days, for every 7 days, for every 14 days, because the ability to have flexibility here is a direct requirement from the risk. Right? When you don't know the customers, you don't want to extend a very long credit-free period, right? And that becomes a legal contract between the customer and the fintech and the bank together. Right now, the bottom line is that can we have 7-day billing period? Can we have 14-day billing period? Right? Our system allows for that. And you configure the cycle, you configure the due date, what it how many grace period, what grace period needs to be given for the customers. All these are configurable on the via the dashboard. Then another very interesting feature in India is the EMI, ability to convert transactions into EMI, right? Again, you know, when you look at worldwide, in some countries, EMI facilities are not there on a credit card. Right, but in India, very progressive. We have ability for customers to convert any given transaction or a group of transactions into EMI. How do you apply the rules? Again, what tenure, what percentage of interest needs to be charged, what processing fee needs to be put, all of that can be mentioned here. And when is the EMI needs to be posted back into the ledger, that again can be controlled. And more criteria can be created for, let's say, you know, we want to give the ability for converting rent transactions at a higher rate, right? That can be carved out and created separately in the system, right? Then the taxation in India, it is very uniform. It is 18%, which again is controllable. So we'll come to the program experience part of it. So what we saw basically captures all the terms and conditions that a bank puts into their credit card program. You go to HDFC or SBI, you take their terms and conditions. All of these are essentially stated there in plain English. Okay, it's in legal English, very difficult for us to understand. But essentially, these are all captured in the system through this interface. Now this, so this is the place where what we've attempted is that creating almost like a Shopify-like experience for credit cards, right? The owner of the program, which is a bank or it could be a fintech company that wants to actually create the interface. How does my user see the front-end interface? That can be created here. All the basic information. Again, we collect a bunch of information, and by setting all of these, and by turning on the features, different features actually have different configurable elements here. All of these are customizable, right? What you're seeing is a very big laundry list of each and every screen, what elements can be customized, what features can be enabled, right? So that's what this particular dashboard provides. Then the next part is the communications, which is the SMS and the email that needs to go to the customer for every incident of what's happening with the credit card, right? So this is a bunch of these are statutory requirements. These are mandated. RBI will audit for these things. So this is configurable in the system. Any change is taken effect in real time. There are also specific ones which are not mandatory as well. For instance, cashback and things like that, which again are configurable here in the system. Right, now we come to the Another part which is the statement, the email statement that goes to the customers, right? What about that design? Today, in today's implementation, that design is a very sticky implementation. Somebody says, hey, this is how we want this, and then a company implements it, and it's a very, very sticky implementation. Making changes to that is very hard. What we've done is we've provided the ability to actually customize the entire look and feel of the statement. So here you can disable the sections that you want to show to the customer, and you can configure these, right? And what the statement looks like is pretty much it's actually rendered right away to the customers there. Sorry, to the program creator, to the bank essentially, right? And this is downloadable as a PDF. Right. So again, the bank can play around with it, and they can actually make changes to this very, very quickly. Right. Today, in today's process, in today's way, the way things stand, for a bank to make changes to this, any statement changes is a very cumbersome and an expensive process. Right. We've made it almost a zero-cost process, and the bank can also customize. One thing that you would have noticed there is, this is customizable at a program level. Imagine having different statements, one for Regalia and one for Infinia. That is a dream come true for someone in the bank who wants to run these, because you will be able to give customized experiences at a program level. Right. We come to the, we are almost at the fag end of this demo. Credit cards are incomplete without cashback. So this particular section allows us to create a cashback for the program, right? So here we are simply creating a cashback for a particular transaction. If the transaction is supposed, let's say, between 500 to 5,000 rupees, we want the customers to actually get, let's say, 10% as cashback, right? That's the configuration that's going on here. Now, the list of MCCs that you're seeing, basically MCC is merchant category code, and that can be configured as well, right? Which is basically, you can say, hey, for your first rent payment, I will give 200 rupees cashback, right? That kind of a feature can be configured here. Or you can say, for every Starbucks transaction, I will give 20 rupees or 50 rupees as cashback to the customer. Right, so the computation strategies, again, you can have many different strategies here. It can be a flat cashback, or it can be a percentage value of the transaction as well. Okay, cool. So the last but not the least, this is essentially great for the bankers. This is security, right? Every time when a customer makes any changes to the card, the authentication needs to be taken, making sure that this is the customer who is making the change, right? It is very, very costly if a bank goes wrong here. What Hyperface has done is provided a very declarative way for stating those security configurations as well. They can say that, look, for reset PIN, I want OTP. But if the customer is locking a card, or say making some changes to the channels, then I want MPIN to be asked as a step-up authentication, right? That whole thing can be declaratively stated through the interface. That is the feature that you just saw. Again, this is end-to-end encryption. We'll skip that. So, okay, cool. I'm running out of time. So there is also a very comprehensive role-based access control for the dashboard as well. That's the last thing that I wanted to demo. Anyways, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
We can take,
Any?
I think, one question we can take before we wrap up and close it. Do we have any questions from the audience?
Okay. Cool. So, okay, if there are no questions, then I'm going to bore you with one more feature, which is basically the role-based access control. See, what happens is, if there is no maker checker, any one person's change could actually be detrimental. So what we've done is we've created the ability for the system to allow who can make changes to what part of the system, right? That's the role-based access control, where different personas inside of a bank, say the program manager or the senior product manager or the business head, who can make changes. We can say that only a program owner should be able to change fees, but a product manager should be able to create a cashback, right? That level of granular access control is present in the system. Okay, Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let's give him a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.